This is the Radio Silly Video News, brought to you in association with Worldwide Financial Planning. For advice on inheritance tax, business finance, mortgages, debt consolidation, investment and pensions, Matt Hyam from Worldwide Financial Planning is on the islands at the Atlantic Hotel on the first Thursday of every month. The Radio Silly Video News also brought to you in association with Truro and Penwith College. Find out about courses you can enjoy here on the islands or on the mainland at truro.ac.uk and listen out for one of 365 great reasons to visit Truro College every day on Radio Silly. Well, you can argue that summer has now arrived on the islands with the first of the church fundraising cream tea afternoons at the St Mary's Parish Church. Sue Hodgson says you could view the turnout as an economic indicator. So it's the first of your cream tea afternoons.
Yes.
Does it feel like summer's on the way now then?
Oh, definitely. The sun is out, spring is here. It's the first of our cream teas and it's just wonderful. It's good fun to start the season like this.
Now, do you think this could be marked as an economic indicator then of how well the economy is doing, whether people can afford the luxury of cream teas?
Well, as we've kept our prices steady for the last few years, then they will find that it's quite a bargain and I don't know. I suppose it's an economic indicator that we've got people here. I think people are more cheerful.
A team of volunteers had been preparing scones and cakes overnight and were hoping for a good turnout that seemed to be more likely with the nice weather this week.
Joyce, how many scones? About 60.
60, okay.
So if we sell out, we will be really, really pleased.
The St Mary's Parish Church has been incredibly successful with fundraising in the past few years, bringing in £120,000 in a matter of months to buy the new church bells. And Sue says more money is needed for a replacement window.
We do have another fund which is for the restoration appeal and to renovate the stained glass windows, which will require loads of money. But we have to also think about the general running of things. You can't let restoration swallow everything.
It's so drafty at the moment, the choir members have to wear coats during the service.
The choir needs to sit there with raincoats on, but they're very stalwart, they don't.
A number of people going along to the cream tea afternoon also went to look at the flowers inside the parish church. Rehearsals are underway for the St Mary's Theatre Club's summer play, Anyone for Breakfast. It's been billed as a sparkling comedy with three young couples causing mayhem in suburbia, set in the 1990s. As always, Maggie Perkovich is directing.
I was thinking, have it modern day, and then some of the more sensible ones said, yes, but if it's modern day, you'd have little mobile phones where all the situations could be sorted out in 2 ticks, couldn't they? And of course, about the 1990s, I think phones were like bricks, weren't they?
Right, yeah.
So I thought, 1990s is pretty good. It's more modern than what we've done. We've done 40s, we did 30s last year, and that's why I just thought it would be a bit of a challenge to do something more modern, but still fun. And I do think our audiences like to be amused. I think they like to laugh.
Maggie says there's some new talent treading the boards at the Town Hall with a theatre club production this year.
Just lately, it's been wonderful. We've had Owen, obviously he's young, Janie Pender, who used to be in it when she was a 12-year-old, and just went away, and she's in it, and which is great. Bobby and Kevin are young, compared to we have had sort of 60-year-old people playing 40-year-olds. We don't have to do that anymore. And we've got 2 new recruits. Gail Gail Sibley, who's always in it, but she wasn't too thrilled with the play, and she stood aside because she saw we had got more girls than we needed.
Maggie says that some of the material may be a little racy and saucy.
No, there's no swear words. No, we wouldn't have anything like that. There's no swear words in it. And as I say, it's, you just hear the blurb on the back to give you the idea. When Shirley's good friend Jane decides to make an assignation with a young man she's met at the squash club, helpful Shirley is only too happy to lend her house to Jane for the purpose, as this leaves Shirley free to spend the evening with the object of her affection, Jane's husband Roger. But when Shirley's husband arrives home unexpectedly with a pretty German air hostess in tow, later to be followed by Roger arriving to visit Shirley, the scene's set for an evening and morning of riotous misunderstandings as the many guilty parties tried desperately to keep their secret secret. Well, obviously, if they'd had mobiles, none of this would have occurred. And the air hostess just have to appear in a negligee, so that's what they mean, a bit saucy.
A wooden cross has been placed on Buzzer Hill overlooking Hewtown as part of Easter commemorations on the islands. A walk of witness was held from the park at 11 o'clock, after which the cross was taken to the hill where it was secured until Easter morning. It was then carried back down to the Methodist Chapel. The chairman of our island's council has hit back at claims that our local authority is unfairly acting in competition with local commercial business and has greatly increased its staffing numbers in the past year. Radio Scilly's received a number of complaints from residents who don't want to go on record but say the council's increased its numbers by 51 staff year on year. That's according, they say, to the council tax documentation. But Julia Day says that's not exactly true.
Well, I think it's a misunderstanding. We've just had a review of salaries across the council conducted by an independent consultant, and it has shown that by and large our salaries are on a par with where they should be compared to the mainland, and indeed the difficulty we have is not that our salaries are too high. In a few cases it's that the salaries we are offering are deemed to be too low, and it is causing us a problem with recruitment and retention.
Julia Day says an increase in staff numbers is usually as a direct response to local need. The community dial-a-ride bus service, which will launch soon, is an example of that. People want it here, but to make it happen, they'll have to employ another member of staff.
The things we are now hoping to be able to do with some of that money is introduce the dial-a-ride scheme, which is, I think, keenly anticipated by a lot of people on St Mary's. They're really looking forward to it. That will inevitably mean that the council will then be employing a driver. So you see, it's often the pressure from the community that wants services. If we want home helps, if we want lifeguards, etc., then it puts up the number of people employed by the council.
Councillor Mrs Day refutes allegations that the town hall is just sucking down grants and creating jobs for the sake of it.
Most of the people the council employ are on wage scales that are set nationally. The council doesn't set the pay rates, they are set nationally, and we have to operate within what is called a single status framework, and all of our staff have to be paid to those pay scales.
The brand new St Mary's church bells could be doing their bit to help the island's tourist economy. Some islanders have objected to the installation of the peal, which they say shatters the peace and quiet. But Dave Mabry says they bring a boost to our tourism numbers. There have been a number of people asking to come and ring the bells, and he reckons 250 will come to Scilly this year to try them out.
I mean, bell ringers, by tradition, do like a good pint as well, so we do go on to the beer side of things. But we did have a number of visitors over the Easter weekend from all points of the country. Really, the furthest away was Ripon in Yorkshire, family came from, and they joined us for ringing on Sunday morning. And then we organised a quarter peal of Yorkshire Surprise Major on Sunday afternoon, which went off very, very well, and look forward to doing some more ringing.